Selena Gomez breaks silence. Secret happiness, revival drama, and the truth behind her next era.
I don't know about ever performing, I don't know, an acoustic set or some sort of soft version. I would love to do that. I miss being with fans for sure.
Today on Celeb Juices, we have the moment fans have been waiting nearly a decade for. A raw, emotional, almost shockingly honest Selena Gomez interview just resurfaced, and it reveals more than anyone expected. We're talking about 10 years of reinvention, private heartbreak and healing, a hidden struggle behind her biggest success, and a confession about whether she'll ever perform again. But here's the twist. Buried in this interview is a subtle comment about her new relationship, her next album, and a moment where she nearly breaks down discussing her past. And yes, we're going to point out the exact line fans are obsessing over. Stick around, because the real bombshell arrives in the final minutes. Selena hints at a life-changing pivot that could completely reshape her career. And trust me, you don't want to miss the clip that sparked a firestorm online. Let's get into the juice. Headline drama. Seldom seen Selena. When Selena Gomez sat down for a conversation that was supposed to be a celebration of her personal and professional growth, the internet wasn't prepared for how honest she would be. This wasn't a typical promo interview. This was Selena speaking about 10 years of rebuilding herself. Emotionally, professionally, spiritually, and for the first time, she talked openly about feeling truly unstuck. The moment that exploded across social media begins with what sounds like a simple check-in. The host casually tells her he's proud of her happiness and new relationship, and then Selena, in one of her calmest but most revealing tones, calls her partner, the most beautiful person, to walk through the highs and lows with her. Fans immediately froze. Was she finally confirming how serious things were? How long she had been keeping this joy private? This tiny moment, barely a few seconds of dialogue, reignited months of speculation. But here's what grabbed viewers even more. Selena didn't talk about this new chapter like a bubbly celebrity in the honeymoon phase. She talked like someone who finally felt safe. Someone who finally found stability after years of feeling watched, judged, pulled in every direction. And if you've followed Selena's journey, from Disney pressure, to highly publicized relationships, to health battles, to the rare beauty empire, you know how big of a shift this is. Before we go deeper, let me ask you, do you think Selena's new relationship is the healthiest chapter of her life so far? Or are fans reading too much into these subtle hints? Let me know in the comments. Now here's the part that really shook fans, and tees up our next chapter. Selena reveals that she and the interviewer talk more often than she speaks to family members. That one line launched 1,000 theories. Is this her way of saying she's rebuilt her circle? Has she pulled away from old influences? What changed? And that's exactly where the interview takes an unexpected turn. Because what she says next about the revival era shocked even day one fans. The revival revelation, the rebirth years. When the interviewer brings up the 10-year anniversary of Revival, Selena's entire tone shifts. Revival wasn't just an album, it was a turning point. The moment she publicly took back her identity. And then she drops the line that is now going viral. I don't feel stuck anymore. For longtime fans, that hits hard. It implies that during Revival, even though she looked empowered, she was simultaneously carrying pressure, trauma, and expectations no one knew at the time. According to her, the Revival era was both liberation and survival. She describes it almost like a rebirth she had to force into existence. And then out of nowhere, she gives us this. I just say it and leave it, move on. This is a very un-Selena statement. She has always been the deeply emotional artist who pours meaning into every lyric. So hearing her say she doesn't cling to her old music the way fans do. That triggered debate. Some fans loved it, saying it shows growth. Others felt emotional, realizing she may have moved past eras that shaped them personally. Which brings us to the next twist. She says she doesn't always re-listen to her old work. She doesn't cling to nostalgia. She leaves those songs where they belonged, in the moments they were created. And that leads into the next chapter, because immediately after this, the interviewer asks a question that forces Selena to confront the darkest part of her public journey. She opens up about her mental health, rare beauty, the Rare Impact Fund, and reveals something that even her fans didn't know before. Emotional core, the Rare Impact Confession. Selena's voice noticeably softens here. She starts explaining how much the Rare Impact Fund means to her, not as a celebrity project, but as something born from lived experience. She admits she used to carry pressure about people looking up to her. That pressure pushed her into unhealthy places emotionally. But what makes this segment powerful is a detail that hasn't been widely circulated. Before Rare Beauty sold a single product, Selena promised that 1% of all sales would go directly to youth mental health. Not marketing, not future intentions, a guarantee. And she didn't just build a brand, she built a system. She even talks about the packaging being designed for people with dexterity challenges, including her own autoimmune issues. This is where the conversation gets unexpectedly intimate. She describes feeling connected to people who have lived through similar trauma, codependency, or emotional wounds. And she talks about knowing when connection becomes unhealthy, that you can walk beside someone without leaning on them. Fans were emotional at this part because this is Selena revealing why she stepped away at multiple points in her career, and why she no longer forces herself to stay in situations where she feels trapped. And then we get one of the interview's most viral moments. Selena admits she is finally in a really good place. For fans who watched her struggle publicly, these words hit like a breakthrough. Now here comes the next twist. She reveals how deeply music still shapes her emotional world, even if she's hesitant about performing again. She mentions a specific song that breaks her every single time, and the internet immediately ran with theories. Music as medicine, the Selena song reveal. The interviewer asks how music shows up in her life, not just as a job, but as emotional language. And Selena reveals something that made fans stop and rewind. She says she is a lyrics girl. She feels every sadness, every hidden meaning, every clever line with a different kind of intensity. And then she confesses she has playlists specifically for crying. And here's the moment that exploded on TikTok. When asked what song she cries to, she immediately says, "Glimpse of Us," by Joji. That one simple answer triggered speculation. Why that song? Is it tied to a past relationship? A personal loss? A private emotional wound? Fans instantly connected dots that might not even be there. But that's what Selena does. She gives one hint, and the fandom leaps into decoding mode. She also mentions playlists called Sad Happy and Positive Music, showing how she uses songs to regulate her emotional world. Then she brings up a fascinating study about mice reacting differently to genres of music in a maze. The science behind emotional frequency and healing becomes a huge talking point. But the real emotional hit comes when the interviewer opens up about using music to communicate with his mother who has dementia. Selena listens, and you can see genuine empathy on her face. She even gets chills. She relates to the idea that when words fail, music still speaks. This shared vulnerability sets up the next chapter, because what she says about performing live is not what fans were expecting. Selena finally answers the question everyone asks: will she perform again? The performance question: will she ever come back? Toward the end of the interview, the conversation shifts into something fans have been begging to know: will Selena Gomez ever return to the stage? And her answer is complicated. She admits she misses the connection with fans, the energy, the emotion, the shared experience. But she also hints that the pressure, the schedule, the toll on her mind and body, may be something she's not willing to endure again. She doesn't say never. But she does say she's learned to stop making promises. That she used to constantly say she wouldn't do something, only to eventually return to it years later. This subtle, almost reluctant hope is exactly what fans clung to. It wasn't a no. It wasn't a yes. It was a Selena answer, truthful, careful, emotional, open to change. Before we hit the ending, here's another question. Do you want Selena Gomez to return to performing? Or do you think her happiest life is away from the stage? Tell me in the comments. And now we arrive at the twist ending, the subtle line fans say hints at her next era. The era she didn't say out loud. As the interview winds down, Selena repeatedly circles back to one idea. Purpose. Every project she chooses, every song she releases, every role she takes, every business decision she makes, everything now must have meaning. Fans believe this wasn't just a reflection, it was a hint. A hint that the next Selena era, whether it's an album, a film, or something entirely new, will be her most intentional work yet. She doesn't want to make noise. She wants to make impact. And then comes this final detail. She says she doesn't feel stuck anymore. She feels, finally free. That one word, free, is the new headline. Is it the name of an upcoming project? A hint at a new album theme? A clue about her next personal chapter? Fans are already decoding it online. If this interview taught us anything, it's that Selena Gomez is entering a new era, one grounded in stability, purpose, and emotional clarity. And this might be the calm before her biggest artistic storm yet. If you want more deep dives like this, the hidden clues, the subtle comments, the behind-the-scenes transformations, hit subscribe and hype up this video in the comments. It helps the channel grow and brings more Celeb Juices content your way. And before you go, don't miss our next breakdown. Why 2025 might be Selena's most explosive career year yet. It's already one of our most watched videos and ties directly into everything we discussed today. I'll see you there.